girl does it one time now.
In the air to right center, Reddick back on the run. This ball is off the top of the wall. And Turner's got a double to start the seventh this season for Hernandez. The throw to third. Out is Turner. One away. Into center, Springer. That's past him and to the wall. Kike Hernandez will come all the way around. Digging for third is Bellinger. And the Dodgers are back on top, 8-7. Top of the order here for the Astros, now down one. High fly ball, goodbye. One pitch to Springer and we're tied again. nobody out. Altuve into left. This ball is over the head of Peterson. Digging for third, Bregman. They bring him home. The throw. Late. Astros lead. 9-8.
He's the best. He gets a fastball anywhere out over the plate. He squares it up. Bregman picking him up and putting him down, and the relay not in time. Ball hitter looking to lift it.
He lifts it into left, down the line, at the wall. Goodbye! Houston on another home run. Tonight, 2 in the inning, and this moonshot lands in the Crawford boxes above the wall and left.
Yeah, strength against strength, and Correa, one of the best. Once the infield came in and once the fastball was up over the plate, it was a matter of did it have enough distance, because it was way up there. He had so much time to figure out. By the time he got to first base, the ball still hadn't landed, and it did right about then.
That's well hit into left. Back at the wall. It is off the top of the wall. And Peterson, who was watching it, is into second with a one-out double.
Case, I don't. Case.
Your head around what we're seeing. Now the tying run is up. It's Corey Seager against Will Harris. That's into left center field. Gonzalez won't get it. Peterson to the plate. Digging for third and stopping is Corey Seager. Grounds to first. Gurriel to the bag. Inning over. Back at the wall. It is another home run. McCann. First. And how about Chris Taylor with his versatility? That is hooked down into the corner at the wall. It's gone. It is a one-run game. 2-run home run by Yasiel Puig here in the ninth. Down. Barnes is going to try. The throw in. He is safe with a double. Chop to the left side. Correa. Low but out. Ties it. 12-12. Center.
But what they did is they went
into top. Up right side. Will it stay in play? Bellinger has it for out number 2. Hit on a rope to left and caught by Reddick. Left side and through that gaping. Back on the track. It's Maben. 2 out as Bellinger. Correa out at second, and Altuve ends up on a knee. Ethier says, my bad. Nothing comes of it. 2-2. driven into right. Is it fair or foul? Foul.
Oh, no.
And that hits McCann. 2 on, 2 out. 10th inning. That's in the air to left. Here comes Fisher. Throw by Ethier. Astros win it in 10.
One of the best games I've ever seen in my life in the World Series last night. Welcome to Undeniable. Matt Bossman alongside
Jordan Walker, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good today. Jordan, how about you?
I'm alright.
Very tired? Do you drink coffee?
No, not at all.
Coffee's a good idea every morning. Great idea.
Yeah, I should.
Coming from somebody that needs coffee.
It's on.
What? Now do you hear it? Try another pair of headphones.
Okay.
Now you hear it?
Not really. I can't.
Now do you hear it?
Testing. Okay.
Better?
Yeah, better. Okay.
So last night was Game 5 of the World Series. Astros defeating the LA Dodgers 13-12 final in 10 innings. Alex Bregman's single in the 10th inning puts the Astros one win away from a World Series as it heads back to LA for Game 6 and possibly 7. Jordan, did you get a chance to see this game at all?
I did not. I literally just checked it out. That game is crazy.
Unbelievable.
I've never seen a game like that.
Unbelievable. I've never seen a World Series game like that before, other than Game 7 last year with the Cubs and the Indians. So, it's crazy to think that Cleveland could be in this position right now, but they're not. And Houston is, along with the Hurricane and everything. I kind of hope that they win the World Series. I'm a bigger fan of Houston than I am the Dodgers. I'm not a fan of any LA team. So I don't really, not a big Dodgers guy. I know Lonzo Ball is a Dodgers fan, or else he has to be. So speaking of the NBA, we're going to turn that way. The Cleveland Cavaliers losing to the New York Knicks yesterday, 114-95.
Yep.
Big game out of Kristaps Porzingis for New York in the game yesterday. Bring up the stats for everybody to hear.
But yeah, like you were saying, they just got to, get gel together more.
Yeah, the Cavs need a gel. They don't have the chemistry right now.
Yeah.
And, I think it's kind of interesting, to say the least, to see what's going on right now. It's like points leader yesterday was Kevin Love, and that to win, I don't think Kevin Love can score the most. I think LeBron needs to every game.
Right.
And I know LeBron doesn't like the workload, but he knows, the kind of player that he is. He gets that workload. That's part of the job of being the king, being the best player in the world, is whatever team you're playing, you're going to score the most. You're going to have the most assists. You're going to, maybe get the most rebounds. And I think, that's going to have to be the case. I'm not saying this is all LeBron's fault. I'm not. I'm just saying with, what he wants to accomplish out of this team, what the potential is out of this team, especially when Isaiah Thomas comes back in January, you're going to see that it's going to be a team effort, but LeBron needs to lead.
Yeah. I totally agree, because right before February is more like the All-Star game, right?
Right. February is the midpoint of the season.
So yeah, I feel like this loss will maybe get stuff right back on track, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
and just get us going. Because obviously we have it. It's just like just bringing it all together.
Right. And again, and it's sad to know that one of the stats coming out of ESPN this morning, against the worst teams in the league, the Cavs are bringing their least. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, the Cavs, and we all can see this, they're 0-4 this season against teams that missed the playoffs last season. It's the first time LeBron has lost 3 straight games, all versus teams that didn't make the playoffs the previous year, since 2003 and 2004, when the Cavs lost 4 such games in a row during a span of April 3rd to April 9th. So, looking at this, you start with the shooting guard position with Dwayne Wade and J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith not being, he's not as happy as he was when he was the starter. Now he gets that position back, and the Cavs still have a problem. I'm not going to blame this on Dwayne Wade. I'm not going to blame this on J.R. Smith. I'm blaming it on the chemistry. The fact that we don't have, like you said, that gel that every team needs, especially when you bring so many veterans together. So many guys that on their own they were very successful when they didn't have too much help. But now that they have the help, they don't know what to do with it. And I think that is the problem. I think when you have so many guys with so much talent, and some are talented in the exact same way, that they want to use that exact same talent at the exact same time.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. LeBron is doing what LeBron does. He's putting up the numbers, but it's the other guys around him, as it's been his whole career. If the other guys don't play well, LeBron doesn't win. The team doesn't win. And you're seeing that, right now. Because you look at Miami, and a lot of people with Cleveland, that are Cleveland fans, would say that the Dwayne Wade addition from the start was going to be, a match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
The king and the prince, LeBron and his buddy, his best friend,
right,
playing on the same team. And it's not like that, because you look at Miami when they were together the first time. First of all, they're older. They don't have what they had in Miami. And that's a few things. Number one, that's the talent. They don't have as much talent as they had in Miami. They've had, Dwayne Wade's had some injuries since the Miami days. LeBron has gotten older, which has slowed him down a little bit. He's still the best player in the league, but he still is kind of not, he's regressing a little bit. Also, you have Derrick Rose, who's been okay, but he hasn't been the Derrick Rose of old, and I don't think we're going to see that Derrick Rose anytime soon.
No.
He's kind of just a fill-in for IT when IT gets healthy.
Yeah.
Also, Kevin Love is continuing to be the Kevin Love of the early Kyrie days. The guy that was kind of, wait for the ball, don't go after shots, and the shots that you do shoot, make sure you make them, and he's not. And, he needs to, kind of what Korver did in Atlanta was, when he became one of the top 2, top 3 scorers on that team, he looked for the ball. He went to the ball. He searched for shots. Now he's just shooting when his number's called. And I think that's been a problem for Korver and Kevin Love.
Yeah.
You look at Jeff Green. Jeff Green is playing great. I think Jeff Green's doing exactly what he needs.
Amazing.
But he's doing a little bit more than the team needs. And that's not his fault. That's the other guys around him.
Yeah.
And then, just that backup point guard position. I mean, we've had so many issues with, point guards. Rose was hurt already. He's back, but he's already been hurt once. And so LeBron needed to take the point instead of Jose Calderon. And I think that was smart, but we still aren't winning. So it's just, this all boils down to the chemistry.
Exactly. I mean, it's when IT comes back and we start to
Incorporate him.
with him within the offense. I mean, I feel like it'd be a great idea because as like you were saying, like D Rose, he's more like a fill-in player,
Right.
Because back like the old D Rose, like the 09 D Rose, he
Right.
was like the rookie D Rose. He was amazing. So
Right.
Man, we gotta wait to see what happens.
Yeah, don't panic yet.
Yeah,
don't panic yet.
yeah.
We're 3-4. I mean, it's not like we're 0-7.
Yeah.
Go back to the LeBron's first season back in Cleveland, back in 14-15.
Mm-hmm.
That season they by January they were 19-21. I mean, they got the number 2 seed in the East, and they still went to the finals. So don't be nervous. Just be alert. Just be a little cautious. There's a point where it's going to gel. It's just got to get to that point, and I think we'll see that sooner rather than later. It's just if they get to the point where they gel to where we know that they can get. Mm-hmm. When IT comes back, are we going to have to do this all over again? That's my question. Are we going to have that problem of, okay, D Rose comes off the bench, IT is starting? Because that will happen immediately. We know IT will start right off the bat. Are we going to have any problems? Or can IT... I mean, IT, the way he, following him on Instagram, Twitter, he's talking about be ready for this comeback. Be ready for this historic event that he's making it out to be. And I really hope it's true. I really hope that IT comes back and he's, 3 times better than 3 times the Kyrie Irving that we saw in Cleveland. I hope we get that. I don't know if we will. I don't expect it, but I expect something. What that is, I'm hoping it's to be a little bit above average, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Golden State, in other news, they lost to Detroit last night, and they are 4-3. They have 3 losses already on the year, so they will not go 82-0, as a lot of people were thinking, which I don't know why.
No.
Looking at who they lost to this year, we'll pull up Golden State's stats. And I just want to point out, I think it's really funny how... they lost to the Grizzlies, the Rockets the first game, and the Pistons last night. I think it's really funny how it's kind of... a lot of teams can hate Golden State, especially now with Durant, but they built through their system. That's how they were when they played us in the finals the first 2 years, the first 2 times, is, they were who they drafted. Those were the players they drafted. They weren't anything special until they developed in Steve Kerr's system. And something I brought up last year or earlier this year or last semester or whatever, the credit for Steph Curry being who he is, Klay Thompson for who he is, the shooting that they have, and the shooting that Draymond Green has developed, I think that all goes to Steve Kerr. I think the fact when Mark Jackson was that coach, they kind of had an identity problem. They didn't know how to use Curry, Thompson. They didn't have Iguodala at the time. And Mark Jackson didn't know what to do with the talent that he had because they were so young. But when Steve Kerr took that team over, they started to find a certain chemistry that they always needed, and that's why they are great. That's why they, have been to the finals 3 straight years, won 2 out of the last 3. That is the reason Golden State is good. It's not because, and then you add Durant to that mix, like they have, and you're not going to, the Warriors are going back to the finals this year, and they have a strong chance to win. I'm just going to point that out right now. There is not one team in the West. I don't know why Paul Pierce thinks that the Thunder are going to beat the Warriors. There's no way in hell. Hell will freeze over before that happens. First of all, Paul George, Melo, and Westbrook, they're not the defensive... they're good offensively, but they're not the defensive idea. When you think of defense, you don't think of Paul George. You don't think of Melo. You can think of Westbrook, but not always. So, first of all, there's your problem. There's no defensive presence. I mean, the best defender in that starting 5 is probably Andre Roberson. And he's going to be playing up on Klay Thompson when they play him. And that's going to happen in the playoffs this year. It's going to be exciting to see OKC and Golden State playing in the conference finals. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It's going to be a 1-2 matchup, and Golden State's going to win in 6 or 7. That's how it's going to go if they don't win in 5. I'm going to point that out. Do you agree?
I agree. to be honest, I do, because speaking of how Golden State is, I mean, winning 2 out of 3 from the last years and the year after that, I mean, the year before that, I mean, proof is in the pudding. So I'm not going. Not going to dispute what you're saying. I totally agree. I mean, hey, I don't, as like a Cleveland fan or anything, I don't like the Warriors, but you got to give them their props. You know, you can't be a hater all the time. But you got to give credit where it's due. You know, they get the job done, and so just
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I'm a person that loves statistics. Okay, not the subject. I hate math, but I love when someone presents an argument to me and they show me evidence to back it up. They show statistics to back up their argument, and I mean, you can't not do that when talking about Golden State. You can't say they're the best team, and then if someone's never heard of Curry before and go, well, I've only watched, John Wall. What's this Curry guy all about? And you just see that this guy can shoot from anywhere on the court. I mean, this guy really has unlimited range, limitless range, the badge in my team. But, it's there. The fact that they have been so dominant in the 2 years that they didn't have Durant. They blew a 3-1 lead, whatever. Right after Game 7, Draymond Green called Kevin Durant and said, you got to come here. We need that extra missing piece to make us dominant. To not only make us the best team in the league, but to make us one of the best ever. And I hate saying that. I was always a doubter. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing.
Yeah, me too.
But they are one of the best teams to ever play the game.
They are.
I mean, they don't have the best players ever, but they have great players for this time, and they've built a chemistry of the fact that Klay Thompson, Curry have quick releases already. You can throw them the ball coming off of a screen, and Klay Thompson's going to throw it up in a matter of seconds. Durant is just...
Durant.
He's the LeBron of Miami.
He is.
If you look at how Miami played, they were a lot slower, but when they were fast-paced, LeBron is going to the basket. He's getting an oop from Dwayne Wade. He's getting assists. Durant is that guy. He gets the assists, and he shoots when he needs to, and he makes it. I mean, that's exactly what LeBron did in Miami. This team is a little more fast-paced than that Miami team. And I would bet you, I'll say it right here on the show today, that Golden State, the 2017, 2018 Golden State Warriors, would obliterate the 2012-2013 Miami Heat. I would say that this team, because, and you got to look at, why people were saying, oh, well, the Cavs are better than the Warriors this year because they're so deep. Mm-hmm. The bench players, it's not the talent that the bench players have, it's the potential that they have that Steve Kerr brings out in them. Look at Omri Caspi. He wasn't a guy to, drive to the basket. A couple times yesterday, I saw him go to the hole, get the ball, and put it in. It's that kind of thing. That's never been his style, but it is now. And he can still shoot. Nick Young is playing great. Yeah. He's almost like a six-man for them. David West, who, old David West, is still doing what the David West did in Indiana. He's starting to show glimpses of that. Andre Iguodala is Andre Iguodala. He doesn't slow up. He just, plays well. He does his job. And when you have pieces like that coming off the bench that are incorporated with Durant, Curry, Thompson, Green, and even Zaza Pachulia is doing things that he wouldn't do anywhere else. It's just he's making jump shots. I mean, you can't say that this isn't Steve Kerr's doing. You just can't. Me personally, I think Kerr, being the great three-point shooter that he is starting to show, he taught Curry, okay, this is what I did when I was with Chicago. This is what I did in Cleveland. This is what I did, in my heyday. And Curry took some of that and perfected it. Thompson is doing that as well. And to me, a lot of people, I was listening to ESPN one day, and they were talking about when Klay Thompson's contract is up, he would leave Golden State because he could be the main guy somewhere and help a team win in the playoffs. I don't see that happening. Why would you break something?
That doesn't need to be fixed.
It doesn't. It's not even that it needs to be fixed. It's just something that is almost unbreakable. Why would you try to break it?
Yeah.
If I'm in that position, there's a better player on the floor than me, okay, and I'm a 3-point guy. That's what I do when I play.
Right.
If there's an all around guy that can drive to the basket, he can shoot, he can pass. Why would I leave that team just because I think I could do better somewhere else by myself? No, I'm 5'6". I'm not going to be LeBron. I can't even be Kay Felder.
How tall is Kay Felder?
I think 5'8".
Oh.
I'm gonna find out. If he's my height, I'm Kay Felder.
But yeah, like that reminds me when you say that, like that.
Oh, he's 5'9".
Oh, 5'9".
Who's
okay.
the smallest guy in the league? I want to find out.
But that reminds me of sort of like what Kyrie is doing, I guess. How you like when you said like the whole Klay Thompson thing, but
Yeah. Okay, so this is all time, but right now I think it's 5'9" is the smallest. 5'9", 5'9". Nate Robinson, he's not in the league anymore, but he's one of the smallest. Isaiah Thomas is one of the smallest. He's 5'9". So 5'9", I think, is the smallest right now in the league.
okay.
And Kay Felder, Cavaliers, and now he's with the Bulls. Richard Jefferson, where did he go? I think he went to Denver. Yeah.
All the way to Denver.
But, yeah, Golden State's the best team right now.
Yeah.
Their record doesn't show it, but the stats prove it from, before. They have a certain chemistry that a lot of teams can't break. They can't, and you can't really break chemistry, so how do you defeat it? You score more points than the other team. I mean, you have to be on your A game when you're playing this team, or they're going to rock you.
Yeah.
And we've seen that,
Seen that a lot of times.
Yeah, we've seen the Cavs, who are supposed to be the second best team in the league or the best team in the East, and you name it, all the names they're given. They've lost to the Warriors before by over 20 points. I mean, we've lost almost by 30 or a little bit more than 30 in times where we needed to beat the Warriors. That's just what Golden State can do, and I think people kind of underestimate that. So we're going to play this whole season just to see the Warriors-Cavs again.
Again.
For the fourth year in a row. And not going to lie, I was thinking about this morning. If LeBron did leave, okay, and the Cavs were going to rebuild, and they got that Brooklyn pick,
Okay.
and they're going to go build through the draft. LeBron says, I kind of want to try something somewhere else, to end my career. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the days when he wasn't here, that when Kyrie was leading the team.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I actually liked seeing the young talent. I liked seeing these group of guys that were looking for themselves, finding out who they were as NBA players, playing on a team, trying to build off of one another, trying to get better as an organization. And would I mind seeing that again? I don't think I would.
Probably not.
I mean, I want to win. I want to compete every year. I just don't feel like the way that we do it is the right way. There's just something about LeBron coming back that made me kind of scratch my head a little bit. Did he come back for his legacy or did he come back for Cleveland? That's my main question. When LeBron retires, and I hopefully at that point will be working in media somewhere, I would love to talk to him and go, be honest with me. I'm not going to publish this. I'm not going to record you. I don't want any dirt on you. I just want to know the truth. Why did you go back to Cleveland? As a fan, I want to know. And if your answer doesn't, if I don't like your answer, I'm not going to, talk crap. I'm not going to do anything to, piss you off. I just want to know. Why did you go back to Cleveland? That's my question. And if he says, oh, well, I love Cleveland, I love Akron, I wanted to get that, that team a championship, if it seems sincere, I'll believe him. But until then, I think it's because of his legacy. I'm a huge LeBron fan, don't get me wrong. I just think he did it for the wrong reasons. I think he came back for reasons of his own, not of the city's interest.
No.
So,
And I think, I totally agree. I think he just came back for like a whole legacy thing because
he wanted to be compared to Jordan, if not better, and that's what people are doing right now. I was watching, and let's have this argument. I never had this argument with you before, and I think we might agree.
Okay.
But start your top 5, and then we'll debate that. From going from 5 to 1, give me your top 5 players of all time.
All time to ever even play the game.
Ever play the game, yeah.
Jordan at number 1.
No, start at 5. Start at 5.
Start at 5. Okay. I want to go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
All right.
4, I will have to go with Wilt Chamberlain. 3, I will go with Isaiah Thomas. You
didn't say it all. You said "fuh."
Old Detroit player. He used to. Did I say his name right?
Isaiah used to play for Detroit, yeah. The point guard?
Yeah, point guard.
Old Isaiah Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's number 3. Number 2, Bill Russell.
And number 1, Jordan?
Yeah.
LeBron's not in your top 5?
No.
All right. Well, that's where we disagree.
Okay.
At number 5, I'll go with Bill Russell. Number 4, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 3, LeBron. Man, at number 2, that's tough. Number 2, man, I don't know. I like Hakeem, I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's the second best player to ever play. All right, let's start over. Number 5, I have, who did I say?
You said, I don't know.
I don't remember. Short-term memory loss kind of sucks. We'll start over. Number 5, I have Bill Russell. We'll go with number 5, Bill Russell. Number 4, I'm going to go with, man.
Did you say Hakeem? No.
No, I don't think he's top 5. Bill Russell, Wilt. At number 3, we'll go back to number 3, and I'll say, Jerry West? Okay, number 3, Jerry West, LeBron, and Jordan. Jordan at 1, LeBron at 2. I want you to hear this argument that Nick Wright made.
Okay.
Oh crap. For years I've been, a huge LeBron fan. I still am, but you just got to hear this. This is beyond something I'd say. Here it is.
Nick? Mm-hmm. What would it take for LeBron to pass Jordan as the GOAT?
Oh, get him, all right, so if we're talking about accomplishments, he needs at least a couple more rings, probably one more MVP. But if we're talking about accomplishments, Jordan's not the GOAT. It's Kareem. And if it's not Kareem, it's probably Russell. So we're not really talking about accomplishments. We're talking about who's the best. Who's the best? One game to decide your life. Who do you want in all-time history? So for LeBron to pass Jordan, he needs a time machine to go back about 11 months when he passed him the first time. LeBron's been the best player ever since about midway point of Game 6 of last year's finals, and all he's done since then is continue that. He's on the greatest streak in postseason history since Dre called him the B word and Clay said his feelings were hurt. He's played 16 games, his team's 15-1, giving you 34, 9, 8, and 55% shooting. And when we're just comparing the two players, LeBron averages more rebounds, assists, blocks, steals than Jordan. Shoots a better percentage from 2, shoots a better percentage from 3, is the more versatile defender, can guard all 5 positions. He can do everything Jordan could do, but better. So what does he need to do to pass Michael Jordan? He already done passed Michael Jordan as far as who's the best player ever.
Go ahead, CC.
I want to go after Skip.
What I would like to do is I'd like to take this conversation back, say, right in the middle of Michael Jordan's career, Skip. I used to travel. Michael and I were good friends. We travel around, watch my great basketball fan, Ron Harper, is my homeboy. Grew up in Dayton, Ohio, very good friends with my family. So I was blessed to be a part of the Michael Jordan show, traveling with him, playing golf with him. And at that time, Skip, in the mid-'90s, who did we discuss as the greatest basketball player then?
In the mid-'90s?
In the mid-'90s. Before we were talking about Jordan.
Well, we were talking about Jordan in the mid-'90s.
But before we were saying that he was the greatest. It was either Kareem or we were talking about champions, Bill Russell.
Right. Okay.
But once Michael came, they knew he couldn't pass Russell, so they started looking at Michael in a different category compared to the other greats, even Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robinson. So they changed it. So when Mike got 3, they thought that he potentially could. Then he took some time off. Then he got 3 more. That's what put him in the conversation. But before that, we were talking about Kareem and Bill Russell. Now, why shouldn't we still be talking about all those 4 players? Because they play a lot of different positions. It's hard to compare them.
Right.
Like you couldn't compare Russell and Kareem. And you can't compare LeBron and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan to us right now, because he's undefeated in championship, it's going to be hard to knock him off being the greatest basketball player ever. Nick is trying to make a point of who plays basketball better.
That's got to be the question.
If you look at all the metrics besides free throw shooting, LeBron does that better than Michael. But, man, there's a thing called winning the game. And there's a thing called the eye test. And Michael Jordan,
LeBron, I think God is
God is getting angry with you guys.
Michael Jordan, he passed all those tests for me. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever. And I disagree with Nick because I saw it and the ability of what he could do when everything was on the line. Now, LeBron, his cement's not dry yet. Michael's cement is dry, and a lot of them things in the cement, you know, when you have cement, you lay cement there's like little fingerprints in it, little birds get on it. But a lot of those little things with Michael, we smoothed them over. We've forgotten them. With LeBron, we pick every little thing out of the cement to make the difference in the argument.
Chris, by 1990, I was saying, I'm watching the greatest thing ever. I'd never seen anything like the force of nature that was Michael Jordan. As a leader, as a clutch takeover player.
I would agree, yes.
I've just never seen anything like it. And not to discredit the great Bill Russell, but the era in which he played, there just wasn't the competition.
18.
I got it. I got it. But
yes.
And also, there were too many white guys playing,
Yeah,
right?
there was 18 and only a few black players.
And Kareem needed magic to take him over the top because Kareem wasn't the leader of the franchise, the face of the franchise. He needed some guidance. He needed that force that was magic to come in and create the dynasty that was the Lakers. Kareem couldn't have done it as the go-to guy for that. That's just me.
Kareem had already won a championship before Magic got there.
And he had 4 MVPs.
And he has the most unstoppable shot in the history of the game.
With Oscar. I got it.
Oscar was at the tail end, though, Skip. Now, be fair.
He was. No, he was. And I got it. And I don't want to discount it, but there's just some magic to magic that took that thing up one more level with Kareem and with Worthy.
Yes.
And I got all, and Byron, and we know Michael Cooper. Yeah, they were loaded. Okay, so back to Michael, and I get your eye test. If we're just doing eye tests, I told him this earlier in the show. My eye test tells me that Michael's better. We're just sort of doing vacuum to vacuum, just what do they look like? Because LeBron has a huge deficiency in his game. He runs from the free throw line late in games, and he's a poor free throw shooter, especially by Mount Rushmore standards. This year he's 67%. Well, that's a big asterisk on his career to me,
Skip,
that he was such a poor free throw shooter.
The finals ended last year with LeBron hitting a free throw to win the championship.
No, it didn't. Kyrie had already won it with the three.
No, going up three doesn't win you anything.
No.
You know that. Ray Allen taught you that.
Yeah, that
going
wasn't
up
the
three doesn't.
There was a possession after that.
Going up four, the same thing he did in Game 7 against the Spurs.
I'm not giving you that. No, I'm sorry. But if you really look at the totality of LeBron's career, the truth is, without the greatest clutch shot I ever witnessed by Ray Allen, which saved his bacon, or he took the shot to tie to go to overtime and missed it. Long rebound. We know the rest of the story. Ray in the corner, nothing but that.
So what about all the shots all the other guys made that I was at the game with Michael Jordan they made? I was there when Kerr made the shot, when Paxton made the shot.
Did LeBron call them over in a timeout before that last possession and say, I'm going to feed you the basketball and you are going to make this shot? No, he didn't do that.
Jordan made the best basketball play.
Actually, he did. Because if you go look at the footage, he tells Ty Lue, he points at Kyrie and says, let Kyrie take the shot.
I'm talking about the Ray Allen shot.
No, I'm talking about the shot. Look, because here's the thing. This is what we keep doing, and everybody keeps doing this. LeBron James is the only guy that is allowed to have teammates to do their job.
Yes.
You see Ray Allen make that shot, he bailed him out. Robert Horry, who did Robert Horry bail out with all those threes he made?
And don't nobody say nothing about the Lakers, about James Worthy going off in the finals.
36, 10, and 10, and he was the finals MVP.
Okay, if Draymond doesn't call LeBron the B word to his face so audibly that Kiki Vandeweghe could hear it in the third row, and Draymond doesn't get suspended for Game 5, what happens last year in that series?
Well, I don't know, Skip, because they won that game by, I think, 17 points. And if Draymond makes a 17-point difference, God bless him. But LeBron scored 41 in that game. And then in the next game, when Draymond was back, he scored 41 again. And then in the next game, he had a triple-double in Game 7 of the finals.
And Bogut couldn't play in either of the last two games.
And Bogut was so valuable, he got bought out by the team after he was released by the Warriors.
He was the rim protector.
Okay, but can we be fair about what we do here? Because you listen, Ray Allen did hit the biggest shot in NBA history. It came after LeBron James propelled one of the biggest fourth-quarter comebacks in an elimination game of the finals in NBA history. And that didn't win
16.
And that didn't win the series.
He had a triple-double.
And then there was Game 7 where LeBron, who the big knock on LeBron is, can he be a killer? How did Game 7 of those finals end? It ended with Tim Duncan missing a shot and LeBron coming down and scoring his 36th and 37th points to ice the game.
He was really good, and my Spurs were really bad in that game because they were psychologically devastated.
Okay, what about those finals? Because I was at most of them with Michael Jordan. Those teams weren't great. Not Michael's teams, the competition. They were not great teams.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to say this point right here. In Game 7 last year, LeBron had 10 points. The Cavaliers only scored 18. He had a triple-double, but all we remember is Kyrie's shot. But what about the block? The shot becomes obsolete because now they don't need a three to tie you.
Yes.
They can get a free throw.
And they still need another bucket after that.
But Skip, how many teams did Jordan face in the final that we say were better than the Warriors?
You can make that case. So you have a chance now in the next 3 years to show us what you can do
What
against
team
that
they faced was better than the Warriors in 2015, 2016? What team did Michael Jordan face that was better than the Warriors in 2015?
I'll give you that, but I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a superstar meltdown the way LeBron James did against the Dallas Mavericks that you're favored over in the 2011 finals? I've never seen anything like it.
I've seen it this way, because I've seen it with Kobe, one of my favorites, and I've seen it with Mike. And I wish Michael would have melted down. But you know what Michael do? They shoot through it, and they keep missing.
Can I listen, I'm probably on a set with at least another ardent LeBron James supporter and one that's close to it. I might be the biggest LeBron fan. I will look into the camera and say the finals against the Mavericks is the biggest black mark on any resume of any all-time Pantheon player. The problem is, in the 6 years since then, he's had the greatest 6-year stretch of basketball in the history of the sport.
In 2014, they were blown off the court by a record finals margin in 5 games.
And
go look at games 3 and 4.
Correct.
Go look at him.
He was the best player in that series. He shot 58% and scored 28 a game.
So what do you think about that?
Speechless. Changed my whole viewpoint.
Really?
On everything.
It didn't change mine. I mean, LeBron to me, is the second best player and always will be. I mean, despite the fact that you can't do what LeBron has done in his career and be called the best. You just can't. You can't leave a city, and I know I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm biased, but you can't just say, all right, I don't like what this front office has done to me. I know I'm the best player on the planet, and I know that I can play better with some other people. Now, I'm going to go to a team that has Dwayne Wade, my best friend, who happens to be a top 10 player in the league, and we're going to play together. Not only are we going to play together, but we're going to invite this other guy who we're kind of close with, Chris Bosh, who's a top 5, top 8 power forward in this league, one of the biggest free agents out on the market at the time, and he's going to come play with us too. And we're going to lose in 2011 against the Dallas Mavericks, who were kind of the nursing home of basketball at that time. You had Jason Kidd, you had Dirk, who was, getting older. Yeah. Dirk, now he's just beyond his prime. He was still kind of at the end of his prime, but he still wasn't the prime Dirk Nowitzki. And LeBron couldn't win. Then in 2012, the Spurs, okay, you beat them once. Year after that, or 2012, you beat the Thunder. Very young Thunder team, didn't really know where they were in the league. They get to the finals because they got lucky against the Spurs. And then they have Derek Fisher, and they have some of these older guys. They get to the finals. They win game 1. LeBron wins game 2. Okay, I'll give him that. But the team won the rest of that series. It wasn't a LeBron thing. It was the team. Because they were just so much more talented than Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Especially in their mindset, because they were vets. Then, in 2013, they win again because of Ray Allen. Okay, and I agree with Skip on that point. I just think Ray Allen bailed out LeBron. LeBron, in 2014, loses in the finals and understands his contract is up, my legacy is tarnished if we lose again in Miami. So I got to go somewhere else, and if I lose there, it's okay. I get a pat on the back because I went back home. So I'm going to go back to Cleveland. I'm going to give it my all, but I need Kevin Love. I got Kyrie, but I need Kevin Love. Why do you think the Cavs, and some people will be like, well, the Cavs were going to get Kevin Love regardless. No. Kevin didn't want to play here. He wanted to go to Boston. And then LeBron said, I'm coming home, and then Kevin's like, oh, I'm going to Cleveland. That was the whole deal with that. I'm not a big...
I remember that. They were...
You remember that.
They were him and... who was it? I know I seen K-Love, but they were all like watching the game before, like we were talking about we were going to get Kevin Love and stuff, and I remember they were watching the game of LeBron or something like that. Here's my thing because we're out of time. Here's my last thing. All right, because LeBron left Cleveland, that is why even if some people believe Jordan's not the best player, that is why between those two guys, we'll just do that. Jordan is always 1, LeBron is always 2. Because Jordan never left Chicago, he took time off, play other sports. He didn't go to the Jazz. He didn't go to the Lakers. He stayed in Chicago when he came back. His last year, played with Washington, still was dominant. So that's all I got to say. You want to sign up? All right, guys. I'm going to check you guys later. Tune in on Wednesday, 12
for Undeniable.
Undeniable.
Check it out, guys. You guys have a great day.